Welcome, friends.
Hello, everyone. We're glad you could join us once again. And it is October. We are thrilled that October is here.
We are. We love October.
We love the warm days and the cool nights and the glorious days. I hope everybody gets out to enjoy these wonderful days, either hiking in the woods, collecting a few acorns maybe, or just, some rocking chair therapy on the front porch is always good too.
It's just a magical time of year.
It is. And I want to remind everybody to read the October chapter in Gatherings from the Good Earth, because it tells you a little bit about what's happening around us, just to be a little more aware of what's happening around us, especially in the natural world. And just some good things in there, some recipes to try and so on. It's a good one to read. And
it's a great way to begin your month.
It is.
To just prepare for the month to come.
And even though you've read it before, you may want to pick it up again because, as I always say, the words stay the same, but the reader changes. And we do change. Every year we're different.
Yeah.
From what we've learned from the year before or whatever. And one other book that I like to pick up in the month of October to read is this one called Imagination Prim. This is a very interesting book. The first few pages set the premise of the book pretty much, and the last pages kind of will surprise a person. And it's a gentle book. It's perfect for the month of October. There's lessons of forgiveness in it, and it's an ideal book to pick up every October. And I hope you'll put this on your coffee table or your side table and pick it up and read it again every October. We have these available in the shop also.
Yeah.
We've been working hard on getting our displays lined up because we are open this weekend. So we've done a new fall display with, all the neat things, colors of fall, and a few other things. We brought in a couple pieces of country furniture to add. So it'll be a beautiful weekend to be out.
Yeah, great weekend to stop in and see us. And we do want to mention, too, that Hurricane Helene happened recently, and one of my grown children is living in the Asheville area, and we're really grateful that she's safe with electricity and water, and their electricity and water wasn't affected, which they were so fortunate. And she's a healthcare worker, and she and her partner are volunteering as part of the relief effort, helping people who were not so fortunate. And our hearts are really going out to everyone affected by Hurricane Helene this week. And if you can help in any way, we all need to do what we can. And I know there are many sources online to contact.
It was absolutely devastating.
Yeah, it was
unreal.
terrible.
And so,
and here in the Midwest, we are watching the seasons change. We love the changes of the seasons. And as the leaves are falling, we want to remind everyone to please, if at all possible, leave the leaves in your yard. The leaf litter contains hidden treasures of insects and bumblebees and larvae and firefly larvae, all kinds of insects that help to feed the birds and support the ecosystem. And the leaves will decompose over the winter, of course, to help feed the soil and just as a natural mulch.
I believe the old frame of mind was always, clean it all up before winter came so it'd be ready to go in the spring. And, it's kind of a nice thought maybe to have that a clean slate when you go out in the spring. However, we have now learned that that's not the best thing to do if we want to save our pollinators and the insects. And so we do go and see the birds and everything eating off the seed heads in the winter. I love it.
Exactly. Yeah, I think leaving the seed heads is really important too. It's a winter food for the native birds, and the native bees and oftentimes lay their eggs, and the larvae live in the hollow stems. And so leaving the stems is important too. So I saw somebody who had a native yards page, leave your yards as they are, said, do less to do more, which I love.
I love that.
Do
That's
less
good.
to do more. I love it. So it's easier for us and it's better for the ecosystem. And I think back in the day when that was the thing, we didn't have to worry about the populations of birds so much. There were lots more birds and lots more insects to support those birds. And now I think all of our land is so developed,
Exactly.
that the ecosystems, we have to help become the ecosystem in our yards, I think, too. And as the leaves, of course, are falling from the trees in this transition of season, I always think about that their releasing of their leaves helps us to consider what's no longer serving us that we've been holding on to. It's a good season for thinking about what we can release from our lives. We are really passionate about the lessons of the plants. They're never ending. All the year long, the plants have lessons for us, and we are really passionate students and teachers of their wisdoms, and we have been for so long. Between us, we have over 40 years of herbal experience, and next year will be our 10th year teaching our Home Herbalist Apprenticeship Program, which is a 10-month program. And we've just opened enrollment for the 2025 session. And the program has evolved. It used to be an in-person program, but with the pandemic, we really had to do the pandemic pivot and adapt. And we think it's really evolved into a very exceptional hybrid experience. So we're really bringing together the very best of both virtual and hands-on learning and community building, so that every month we send out boxes to our students with herbs and herbal kits and seeds and handouts and other items that are related to our seasonal lessons. We want to make sure that our students have direct experience working with the herbs and opportunities to build connections with other herbal students and build their confidence using herbs every single day. We think that's such an important thing. It's what we do in our own lives, and it's what we want for our students. In our program, we go well beyond herbalism into really every aspect of what it is to live as a home herbalist month by month, year by year. When we were designing the program, we wanted to bring all the pieces of herbalism and more together in a program that's both comprehensive and accessible. And the feedback we've received from students all through the past 9 years has been really phenomenal. And if you have ever wished to be a confident home herbalist, as I think really everyone is meant to be, you'll want to join us for this transformative experience. And because of the nature of the program, we pack boxes every month for our students. The number of students is limited, and it generally fills pretty quickly. So you'll want to grab your spot and find out more. And you can do that at our Herb School website, which is goodearthherbschool.com. And let us know if you have any questions.
It's a fun program. Everyone has a wonderful time in it and learning so much. The comment I always hear is, I didn't know that there was so much I didn't know.
Yes.
And they thought they knew.
Yes, and I love the comment. One of the comments we often receive too is, how wonderful it is to go from, going out and just looking outside at all this green stuff, it's just green stuff, to like they're my friends, they're my allies, and now you know which one to use for what, which is so empowering. And you never know when you're going to need that information. We need and use that information on a daily basis.
We will be doing a little farmer's market display starting this weekend. The items in there will be for sale, and they will feature ginger.
Ginger, one of our favorite herbs.
So there'll be pumpkin bread with crystallized ginger topping, ginger cookies. There'll be
crystallized ginger,
yes,
chocolate-covered crystallized ginger.
Absolutely. There's some wonderful things, and you may want to stop by and take a peek at some of those things and take some things home with you, because they are yummy this time of the year especially.
Well, ginger, it's so warming. The part of the plant that's used is the rhizome, and it has over 100 active compounds in ginger. And it has affinities for the heart, the lungs, and the digestive system. And it's antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, and more. And super warming. And that's one of the reasons why I think we're really drawn to those warming spices and ginger included during these months coming into the fall and the winter. And one of the things that we love about ginger too is it's an herbal synergist, which means that when it's used in an herbal formula, it helps make all the other herbs in the formula work better. So we love ginger in so many ways. And one of the ways that we love it is also in a formulation called fire cider. Fire cider is a traditional remedy for the prevention of colds, flus, and other bugs that we might come across in the winter that want to get in and make respiratory illness with us. So fire cider is a great remedy and prevention for that. And we are delighted to carry one now that is locally made. The same folks who make our elderberry syrup also are making a wonderful fire cider that is loaded with immune-boosting, pathogen-fighting herbs. Ginger is first on that list, and then onion, turmeric, horseradish, elderberry, blood orange, lemon, hot peppers, garlic, rosemary, and thyme in a base of apple cider vinegar and honey. So it is a Ooh, spicy, sweet, tasty, and really powerful winter wellness ally. One of our customers actually was in, and she mentioned that she was using it as a base for her salad dressing, and which we just love that.
Amazing.
You know, just a little bit of fire cider, add some olive oil, a little bit of salt, and you have a healthy, wellness-promoting, and unforgettable dressing for salads, vegetables, really whatever you want to drizzle it on. Absolutely delicious.
Wonderful. It's important to have it on hand because if something hits, you need something quick.
It's absolutely a staple in our winter wellness
Yes.
apothecary. And as we're talking about seasonal items, I want to mention too, Mom mentioned we're open this weekend. Our tarot and oracle decks are on sale, and we have some wonderfully fun Halloween themed decks you will want to check out. We'll be featuring also in one of our displays.
Good. Those will be great.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that we have our second class is lined up for the Whisk Broom class.
Yeah.
And this is this sweet little broom that you can make. And this is we wear a lot of hats in our lifetime, and this is just another hat. Be a broom maker.
I love that. I love it.
And so you can make your own little broom. It can be hung. Of course, it can be used. It's very practical to use. We have 2 or 3 spots left in that, so you'll want to get on the ball quickly and register for this if you want to become a broom maker. And I encourage everyone to try these wonderful old crafts that were so wonderful and such a staple in our life.
Yeah, and I think it's not only about making the broom and having this wonderful skill, which is such an important thing, but it's also creating community. You know, the folks who come here and have classes are, we think, some of the best folks. We just love the people who walk through our door, and it's a great way to sit down with some of them and chat and maybe make a new friend.
Exactly. I think this is also a time that's kind of crazy in the country right now, and this is a time to kind of forget everything and just sit down for 2 and 3 hours and be with others and to do something really special for yourself.
Make something with your hands.
Absolutely.
Which it's something just to start something and then have a finished product when you leave.
To show for.
Yeah, there's
It
nothing
is a
like
good
it.
thing. That's right. If you read in my book, you'll know that I am a gatherer. I like to gather things to me. Whether it's just items, objects, people, whatever. It's just something I do. However, I think most of the time when I am walking in my lane or looking at or going out my front door, certain items find me. I don't think I find them, but I think they find me. And so I'm always picking up, I'm always collecting, filling up my pockets. Finally, I went to carrying a basket down the lane when I would go or when I would be outside so I could put things in a basket and they wouldn't blow away or whatever. So on my coffee table, I have a large bowl. I mean, it's a large bowl. And a wooden bowl is one of those wonderful treasures. I actually wrote an essay in my book on that because it will hold anything and everything. When you have a basket, or a basket or a bowl, what we want to do is fill it, it seems like. And so as I collected items, I didn't, where am I going to put them? Pretty soon they laid on the counter, and then I'd scoot them over here. Finally, I just got the big bowl, and I started putting things in the bowl, and it gradually just filled up and filled up. And so when a guest comes or a family member comes to the house, you'll find them digging in the bowl. What's that? And questions will be asked, and it's a great teaching moment. Also, it's just a wonderful entertaining moment, and it's just things I gather along the way. Because what do we do otherwise with those little things that we gather? What do you gather? Do you look for heart-shaped stones? I do. Do you look for a feather? Most of the times I don't have to look for one. It's right outside my front door sometimes. And so all those little things can come to be put into a big bowl. Now, I have this big bowl. I have a candle in the middle of it, and that candle is sitting up on a little wedge of wood on the bottom to bring it up a little higher. And then I have a votive inside of it, so I can burn the votive if I want to. The candle will never burn down on its own. It just looks right the way it is. And so some of the things I have tucked into my bowl, of course, are the feathers. I do have the feathers, and I stick them into my bowl. I may lay them down, whatever. I have a cinnamon stick of something I worked on. I have lavender stalks that I brought in, and I didn't do anything with at the time, so they're in the bowl. A pretty little flower that's dried as I brought it in. It just stayed on the counter and it dried, and so I lay it in my bowl. It's just one of those neat things. Probably the majority of what you find in my bowl would be acorns, little pine cones, and many of the little gourds I grew. From one plant came 200 little gourds. And I love those little things. They are marvels of nature. I love the items that are so delicate. I love the items that will surprise me or intrigue me. And that's why I even have a piece of wood, a bark from the tree. This is from a sycamore tree. It's very thin. It peels off the tree. And it's that beautiful color with little knots in it. It's just gorgeous. And so I will stick it even into my bowl, wherever it might stick. Or it will lay in the bowl, whichever works. It's just one of those beautiful things again. And this was recent because I am intrigued by the pods of the milkweed, how they can release all those little seeds inside. And just look how ornate they are. And I know ornaments have been made for Christmas and things like that from them. I just love them as they are naturally. So it will even lay in a bowl. This is from a teacher who taught in one of our classes. And she, out of twigs, she just made a little horse. And so it sits up in my little bowl. I am very much intrigued by these little walking onions that we have. This is the top of the walking onion, and there's little bulbettes on the end of it. These tiny little bulbs will fall off, and then there'll be more onions around. They say once you plant one of these and have a walking onion in your garden, you'll never be without onions again. And they're more of a scallion, I think, or that type of a thing. But I love them. They're just, those little babies are like seeds from a flower, but these are little bulblets. So they lay in my basket. Been collecting the little tiny acorns that are very slim and pretty with the tiny little oak leaves. I just think they're just a marvel of nature. So they are laying here also. This is a little wasp nest that fell, it's laying on my front porch. Now if you look really closely at those little cubicles in that nest, they are a hexagon shape. And if you remember last week we talked about the hexagon shape, how often it is found in nature. Here's another example of it. A black walnut, when it falls from the tree and the squirrel gets to it, they may open it and eat out the nut meats inside, and then it's just left, but it looks like the owl eyes when you look at it just right. Just more little wonderful things. This happens to be a buckeye, said to bring good luck if you carry it in your pocket. A horse chestnut, and of course more of my little bitty gourds. Now I remember the first thing as we come out to our land. Oh, there's a piece of a catkin from a pussy willow. Oh, aren't they just the sweetest things? Yes, these kind of things just really excite me. And probably not everybody, but they certainly excite me. I do have some that are just laying into a gourd that's had the top of it cut off, or side of it's cut off, so it makes a little dipper, and I just lay that in my bowl too. Now the first thing that I ever collected when we come out to our land was our land. It should not be our land, it's the land we share with the creatures that live here. And so we are the people that live on it for now. Mm-hmm. And when you bought your land first and your house here, we walked down to the watershed lake. And the first thing I picked up was the shell of a painted box turtle. And it was just the shell. And I thought, that was the home of that little turtle. And now it's going to be your home. And so she was gifted with this shell from the box turtle. And that was the first gift from the land here. And so since then, there's been so many more. I hope that you will all find a bowl to lay your treasures in. And these are treasures. They are beautiful to see. They are marvelous to look at. They make me ask questions. How can that be? How can it be so wonderfully perfect? And all these things are just marvels of nature. And you'll collect them and you'll enjoy them too, as will the people that come visit your home, and maybe even just the children. And then the children can learn a lot about nature, how perfect it is, and how we can help preserve it. Mm-hmm. And that's what this really is all about.
I love it.
And so I am a gatherer. Are you a gatherer? I think we all gather to some extent. I will close with a little poem, a verse, prose, whatever you want to call it, about gathering. And that is the title of it. It's by Nina Bagley, and it has always been a favorite of mine. In fact, I had it in front of a notebook for a long, long time, too. It goes like this. We are gatherers, the ones who pick up sticks and stones and old wasps' nests fallen by the door of the barn, wallets with holes that look like eyes of the owl, bits of shells not whole, but lovely in their brokenness. We are the ones who bring home empty eggs of birds and place them on a small glass shelf to keep for what? How long? It matters not. What matters is the gathering, the pockets filled with remnants of a day evaporated, the traces of certain memory, a lingering smell, a smile that came with the shell.
Beautiful.
So with that, we will see you next week.
Good earth blessings to you.